think it's like a sewage treatment lagoon or something like that. See a transmission line in the back. It's got some distribution underbuilt on it. And, you know, I'll work for both the utility and I'll work for the plaintiff who's suing the utility. And I'll work for either side. What I like to do is say, I'm going to take the side of the code book. I don't care, you know, if it's the utility or the plaintiff. I take the side of the code book. So in this case, that distribution line was pretty low. It met the pedestrian, let me remember that. It met the pedestrian clearance, but it didn't meet the normal, what I call, what should we call it? Non-pedestrian clearance. Let's just say that, because there's a lot of other rows on the table there. So so the utility was arguing, hey, we met the pedestrian clearance. So we need another picture. Can we go to the next slide? It kind of looked like that area was, you know, just for pedestrians. But then, you know, you got to walk around the yard there. It was a fenced off area, but there's the lawnmower that they used. I got out my measuring stick. I don't have a picture. I wish I did. I got out my measuring stick. That lawnmower was above 8 feet. Let's think about that footnote we just read. For it to be pedestrian only, the vehicles had to be under 8 feet. That lawnmower was above 8 feet. So I was not willing to call that a pedestrian only area.
Yeah, interesting. So when that line, the transmission with the distribution under there, or, you know, it was in the background, when that line was originally designed and constructed, if there was no tractor on site then, the question is, what if this tractor was bought after the line was energized and the power company not notified? So I guess it would be a good way to describe that is if the categorization changes after the line's constructed, who's actually responsible for bringing that in compliance with the code? Would that be the people that own the property that's purchased the tractor? Have they got any obligation to notify the utility, or is it strictly on the utility, the people that own the poles and wires, to comply with NESC, even though the landscape may change below the line?
Gotcha. I want to separate two things. Okay. There's a grandfather clause in the code. That's not what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with a change in conditions around the line. And a lot of people have trouble separating those two things. To me, a change in conditions around the line is not a grandfather clause. Like if you designed it to somebody's backyard and then they built a freeway through your backyard, you can't just say, oh, it's grandfathered to a backyard. You have to change for the new freeway. So it's not a grandfather clause issue. The second thing is, I doubt that the owner of the property is going to report to you, hey, we're using a vehicle over 8 feet. They're not in tune with the National Electric Safety Code. It applies to the utility, not the owner of the property. And then third, how do you know? How do you know that they're using that vehicle there? You're doing your inspections. The code requires you to do inspections. You know, you don't have to do a formal inspection. You might be on the property for some other reason, changing a fuse, replacing a transformer, I don't know. And you see this vehicle. So that's how you're notified. You're doing your inspections. It would be great if the landowner notified you.